This year's convention marks 15 years since Dick Marbes finished his term as our national commander. And while for many achievements, while making that achievement, he made a culmination of years of service, it seems today like it was only beginning for past National Commander Marbes. As an Air Force veteran, Dick lost his right leg in military service and was medically discharged and retired in 1958. 2 decades after his injury, he continued service in the DAV, and it earned him recognition as the Department of Wisconsin's Disabled Veteran of the Year. Past National Commander Marbes has held most appointed and elected positions from the chapter through the national office. In 1991, he was named by his state's governor to represent all veterans on Wisconsin State Board of Veterans Affairs. He continues to serve our community in his home state as driver and coordinator with the DAV Transportation Network. This past May, Dick was recognized by the VA for 12,500 hours of voluntary service and given an Outstanding Service Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm DAV welcome to our past National Commander, Dick Marbes, Chairman of the DAV Charitable Service Trust.
Thank you very much, Commander Dempsey. On behalf of the DAV Charitable Service Trust Board, I thank you for that kind introduction, and I extend our gratitude to National Adjutant Wilson, our national officers, you, the delegates, and our guests. As chairperson, let me introduce the Trust Governing Board. They include Vice Chairman Art Wilson, Secretary-Treasurer Dave Tannenbaum of Florida, and our directors, National Commander Ray Dempsey, Gene Murphy from South Dakota, Dennis Nixon from Texas, and Jerry Steelman of Minnesota. With the support of these board members, I am pleased to present our annual report for the year ended December 31, 2008, a year of test, trial, and triumph in our battle to build better lives for America's disabled veterans and their families. Men and women who have served in time of war have a unique understanding of the importance of never leaving one of our own behind. It is that same sentiment that guides us as we care for our fellow veterans. Building better lives for these veterans, providing cover when they need it most, is the purpose of the Disabled American Veterans and the guiding principle of the DAV Charitable Service Trust. At this time of uncertainty, with our brave young men and women in harm's way in battle on 2 fronts, the Trust faces unique challenges and critical opportunities. We must continue to bring innovative programs and serve veterans of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Cold War, the Persian Gulf, and every conflict and combat operation in between. At the same time, we must reach out to the thousands upon thousands who have come home sick and injured from service in today's armed forces. We must address the needs of a generation that is surviving devastating wounds that would have taken their lives in previous wars. We who have served in previous combat eras know that it is significant that such a small percentage of our population have served in these perilous times. As operations in Afghanistan intensify and men and women remain in harm's way in Iraq, the burden of war rests mainly on the shoulders of the brave few and their families who are currently answering our nation's call. We must be vigilant on their behalf and continue to remind our fellow Americans about their service and sacrifices. I thank all of you for your advocacy and outreach that reminds our fellow citizens that the peace we enjoy at home is owed to the brave few who for generations have put their lives on the line in our defense. we must recognize the special patriotic contributions of those who support our cause through gifts to the DAV Charitable Service Trust. Since its founding in 1986, the Trust has been a dedicated partner helping the DAV ensure our nation meets its obligation to its disabled defenders. And with outlays of $5.7 million in 2008, the DAV Charitable Service Trust established a marvel of efficiency with the funds the American people have entrusted to it. We spent only 3% of expenditures on fundraising during 2008 and only 1% on administration. So fully 96% of every dollar entrusted to the Trust went directly to programs that support veterans and their families. That is a remarkable achievement for any nonprofit organization, but thank you. It is nothing short of what our nation's veterans deserve. The RAND Corporation staggered everyone last year when a study found that 1 out of every 5 veterans coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan endured a brain injury, and 1 in 5 suffers from depression or PTSD. The tie linking brain injuries and mental health issues are leading reasons why veterans make up a quarter of the homeless people in America. The DAV Charitable Service Trust addresses their sacrifices head-on. That's why you'll see so many programs for homeless veterans listed among the grants made by the Trust. Support for shelters, rehab, stand-downs, medical care, and so much more for veterans who have no friends but you and me, nowhere to call a home of their own. About 400,000 veterans experienced homelessness in 2008. With home foreclosures, it's getting worse, and the veterans are getting younger. The VA says 45% suffer mental disabilities. Women now make up 4% of homeless veterans. And as you look at the programs we support, please notice how many enlist successful veterans as volunteers, helping their less fortunate brothers and sisters. And that's critical because so often homeless veterans will put faith in a fellow veteran when they'll trust no one else. Several of the programs the Trust supports are absolutely nitty-gritty, down-to-earth stuff that absolutely must get done. But you can also be proud of our efforts to bring new and novel approaches to mental health. The Trust also frequently cooperates with the VA, and the teamwork pays off for homeless veterans. No issue is more important to troops returning to civilian life today than finding a good job. That's been a problem all along for our youngest veterans, who consistently suffer higher unemployment than non-veterans of the same age. Service-connected disabilities only complicate the issue, and the economic turndown that hit in 2008 slammed our youngest disabled veterans to the ground. But the DAV Charitable Service Trust has responded. We brought services directly to the unemployed disabled veterans through several programs, including some specifically aimed at women and homeless veterans. Programs of outreach to disabled veterans and their families not only received significant support from individual supporters of the Trust in 2008, grants from corporations and foundations play a very significant role. An extremely generous grant from the GE Foundation supported the transition service officers who bring DAV's Veterans Benefits expertise to military installations. A Harley-Davidson Foundation grant sent DAV mobile service offices across the country to serve veterans and families in towns and rural communities distant from our offices. The Ford Motor Company continued its superb long-term support of the DAV's National Transportation Program with a very significant contribution of vans. There was also a generous contribution from the Ford Foundation for Service. A grant from the Alaska USA Foundation helped the Trust fund free DAV services to disabled veterans and their families and our northernmost state. We also thank Merck & Company as well as Eli Lilly & Company for helping many of our country's most profoundly disabled veterans gain new agility, strength, and confidence as they take part in a number of rehabilitative therapy events at the annual National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic.